Mark,
Hey, Paul.
what are you reading?
Absolute Wonder Woman #2. I'm soaking in the terror of the Tetracide.
The Tetracide. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we're going to talk about all those good things. We're going to talk about Tetracide, um, Nemesis. We'll talk about Nemesis. We'll talk about all
Ooh.
those things right after this. Before we get started, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the like button. Leave us a comment. Let us know how we're doing. How are you enjoying the absolute all-in editions of DC's newest lineup? And leave us a comment. Did I already say comment? I may have already
It
said comment.
doesn't hurt to say it more than
Yeah, exactly.
once.
Leave us 2 comments since I said it twice.
Two of them.
There you go. But we are now well on our way into all the Absolute editions. We have Absolute Wonder Woman. This is issue number 2
Two for two
that,
comments.
that we're talking about. So, if you recall, we basically, at the end of the last issue, we had Wonder Woman, who was facing off against the big bad of the last issue, the
Harbinger
Harbinger.
Prime.
Harbinger Prime. She basically had listed all of her credentials as to why she needed to take on and why she would not let Harbinger Prime go any further. And that's basically right where we start with
She's
issue number
highly
2.
qualified, by the way.
She is, yes.
A
As
lot of
you know,
credentials.
yes. If she had a resume, it would be like 4 pages long.
She did. She came prepared to the interview.
Exactly, exactly. We actually see a little bit of a fight, but for the most part, it doesn't. There's not a lot going on necessarily with fight wise here. Wonder Woman actually manages to actually kind of talk Harbinger Prime off the ledge of attacking.
Yeah, in the midst of the fight, we get a couple of things of note. We see her do her classic little, I wouldn't call it like her band slap, but she puts her arms up and you see that she manifests like a shield in the shape of a star. Wonder Woman and stars are synonymous, as it's normally part of her outfit, but she uses that as a shield for the small harbingers. We get the official name of this lasso, which is it is Nemesis, and we get its credentials that it was forged by her mother, fashioned by her mother, made from the remains of the last basilisk, infused with the blood of Prometheus, blessed by Demeter, goddess of the harvest, mother of all. So this thing doesn't hold you tight and get the truth out of you. It just ravages you and burns you. The burn you feel, know that it is the result of the pain you have wrought on others. So it hurts you, I guess, like an even
In
balance of the pain that you do to others. So that's wild,
exactly,
right?
yeah, it pains you in proportion to your sins.
Ooh, very
So
man thing.
exactly, I would be dead. Um,
So she
um,
manages to wrap up Harbinger Prime with it and burn him to the point of agreeing to leave this fair city to retreat back into the ocean, even though he gives her the fairly well warning that he is not the worst that's coming, that her doom is imminent, kind of thing. And that's when this series or this issue takes a turn into our story.
Yeah, he basically says, "Hey, you know what? I'm going to go away, but you're not going to like what comes next."
Hmm.
Basically,
And
what he
what comes
says.
next happens to be Steve Trevor out of the smoke.
Exactly. Which actually she does kind of enjoy.
Yeah, it was a good surprise. Yeah, from the dust of the debris from the fight comes walking Steve Trevor up behind her, surprises her,
Hmm.
happily surprises her. They clearly know each other already. So after the introduction of them on the beach, it kicks immediately to the backstory of her walking on the Wild Isle, the island that's located in Hell, where she was isolated at with her mother and raised. And what's interesting, this is a very similar story we've seen before with Steve Trevor washing up on the shores of Themyscira or Paradise Island, where it's different in this aspect. This island is not paradise, it's literally in hell. So for Steve Trevor to wash up on this island, it takes a different path. The guy had to die to get there.
Yeah, but as you know, as he's there on the shore, and she's kind of tending to him. The Hydra comes along and kind of takes him away. She dies. She dives into the. We don't see the battle, but we do see her come back with Steve. So she
Yeah, it was
basically jumps
very
in to save him.
It was very funny because we see her doing like magic to resuscitate him, to bring him
Right.
back to life, his spirit or something. Green flame over him as the tentacle yokes him into the ocean, which is pretty funny.
Yeah,
But she brings him home like she found
like a
like she's
lost
dig her
puppy.
gem and found some silver
Yeah.
hiding in the beach. And Cersei's like, "What in the name of Hecate? Like, what are you doing?" She's like, "I found it. Finders keepers, pretty much." And she kind of chastises her for fighting with the Hydra. Like, that's definitely gonna come back and bite us in the butt at a later date. And she made them. Well, I didn't fight the Hydra. I kind of just took them and dipped. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like, so that's pretty cool that they addressed that the Hydra is not something that they want to battle with, that they don't want to have to worry with.
Right. It's funny because Cersei says to Diana, "Who does he belong to? Is he yours?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "No, of course not. He's his own thing. He's like his own thing. Don't worry about it."
And then in the next scene, we kind of see him wake up and they're tending to him, blanket over him, what appears to be something like coffee, and him trying to understand where he is and who these people are that he's talking to. And that's where he gets the realization that he's in the underworld and that he had to die to get there. So Steve Trevor's died twice now in about a month.
Exactly.
So if you were upset from him passing away in the main series, oops.
Too bad.
Yeah.
Guess what? It's still going to happen here. So they manage actually to, they have a heart-to-heart on the beach about some of the things that's going on. He has some visions. Well, her vision is good. He has some other visions that are what did I?
They're looking out into the ocean.
Right, so, yeah.
She's talking about the Hydra. They're walking where he got yoked up, and he mentions like, "Should we still be worried?" She's like, "No, it's out there. See." And he looks. He goes, "I don't see it." He goes, "Oh, you must not have good vision." He goes, "No, I have really good vision." She goes, "Oh," and they kind of point out the superpower,
Right.
like because she is Wonder Woman, he's not capable of seeing with his like 20/20 pilot vision, the Hydra tentacle up in the water, but she with her super Wonder Woman vision, the kind of the difference in their, I guess their starting points.
Right. We flash back to we flash forward to the present time now, where we were with Steve walking up after Diana had gotten rid of Harbinger Prime. Basically, he says, "Hey, I got some people that want to talk to you." And she says, she basically is like, not surprised. But they go and they see a couple of army men who are all much shorter than she is. So you get the perspective of exactly how tall she is. That was mentioned too in when Diana and Steve were walking down. She actually mentions how tall he is, and he's like, "Well, I'm kind of tall for who I am."
Yeah, the perspective differences.
Yeah, exactly. But the general is basically being very general-like and basically trying to control everything and saying, "You will do this, you will do this," and she's pretty much saying, "Yeah, that's not going to happen."
Yeah, you cannot control me, and that frustrates you. But this is not my problem. She's trying to offer her services or help, and because it's outside the parameters of what they're planning, it's an uncomfortable situation. It's an unknown in the factor of war planning.
Yeah, and the more she says that, the more incensed the general gets. Until basically she just basically storms out.
Yeah, I got to go feed my horse.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they're saying, "Wait, what does a dead horse eat?"
Right.
Magic. I'm like,
Yeah,
what? Then in the
exactly.
next panel,
Right, and she
the green glow feeding the skeleton horse.
right. She she sells Stephen, what's its name? It's like Pegasus, and it's like what Pegasus? Like it seems like no, the Pegasus.
Yeah, he's like, that's pretty unoriginal. You're gonna name a Pegasus Pegasus? No, it's not a Pegasus. It's the Pegasus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. A winged horse, a Pegasus. No, the Pegasus. Yeah.
We have some more dialogue between the two, and then we finally see the kaiju. There's a massive
high pitched sound that takes
high-pitched
everyone to
sound.
their knees.
Right.
Debilitating sound, shaking this city. Soldiers dropping their firearms and falling to their knees. Wonder Woman barely able to stand through the pain, and she looks up and sees none other than a demonic-looking H.P. Lovecraft mega kaiju called the Tetracide.
Yes. And it really is. It is basically. Yeah. Let me.
I love how it's like faded into the fog, into the mist, and she's like, "Oh boy!" She just told the general, like retreat your people back a mile into the city, get everyone safe, and then this appears, and they're like, "Oh my God, you said just a mile." She said, "I was wrong."
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna need a little bit more than a mile.
Yeah, and then we get a great shot of her just walking to it, just heading to it, calmly collected to what she feels, what she addresses, like could possibly be her doom. Goddess protect us all. The Tetracide leaves nothing behind. So she's not very confident about this one. She understands the task at hand, and she's not excited for it.
Yeah, and that's where we end the issue. And I mean, the Tetracide could have come right out of a Toho book, practically. One of their movies.
It looks like an old god from H.P. Lovecraft to me. All the little tentacles going down its stomach and chest, and just
Yep. So again, we build upon her mythology with Nemesis and her relationship with Steve. All of that is kind of built out, so they're slowly issue by issue building out the new history for this absolute Wonder Woman. And I think they're not rushing it, which is good. It seems like it's flowing at a pretty organic type of a rate. We managed to up the. I mean, if we thought Harbinger Prime was bad at the end of the last issue, now we got Tetracide this issue.
Yeah,
so,
Nemesis won't even wrap around this one.
Exactly. So they're
there's
raising
also
this.
one thing that stood out to me was we didn't see what caused Steve Trevor to arrive on the Wild Isle. We also didn't see Wonder Woman and Steve Trevor returning to the land of the living. If they go together, if he finds a way to go by himself, there's a lot of stories still to be told. All they really gave us was a slice of his time there, like from being on the shore to kind of waking up. That was it. Like, I wonder how long he was there and what's to do about all that. And so to your point, with the way that they're pacing it, they're definitely leaving a lot of material to come, a lot to look forward to in that aspect.
Yeah, and I'm enjoying it. I don't think there's been a miss with any of the absolute issues so far. They've all been good, and they've all been really different too. So that, that's one thing, is it's not just it's the absolute, everything's going to be this or everything's going to be that. Each one is kind of set in its own way, and it's, again, although it's the same as what we know, it's just different enough to keep people interested too, I think, too. So you still don't know, even though you know Wonder Woman and you know her origin, you don't know this one's origin completely. So there's still stuff to be shown and stuff to make you say, hey, you know what, that's a little bit different, I like that.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it a lot. This is I don't know, it's got me intrigued the most out of the three so far.
Yeah, Kelly Thompson's doing a great job, and the Hayden Sherman art is appropriate. We were talking before. It seems like it's pretty appropriate for what they're doing here too. So
there's a lot of panels that have all red vibes to me, with like the expressions and like the style of the art. Definitely digging it.
Yeah, absolutely. Next week we have Absolute Superman issue number 2 coming out, so we'll be taking a look at that next week. But yeah, if it's not too early, you may still be able to find some of the first issues out on some shelves somewhere. If not, there's plenty of you can maybe find the noir issues if you want to look at those, or there's second, third printings, fourth printings if you're looking for Absolute Batman. But there's second printings of Wonder Woman and Superman coming along as well, so you will be able to find a copy if you want one. But again, before you leave, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to leave a like. Don't forget to hit the like button. Leave us a comment. Let us know how you're liking the Absolute Comics. And don't forget to hit your notification bell so you're alerted whenever we upload new content. But that's going to be it for this edition of DC Comics Deep Dive. As always, I'm Paul. He is Mark.
And we are Legion.
And you are now leaving Sector 2815.